Maybe that email goes off at the end of the year here.
There you go.
Let's talk about the reason you ended up in the coast. And obviously, we're gonna get into the podcast in a minute, but if you want to watch the Talking Trash podcast, Daniel and AJ have a really great discussion on his ban in the Fed. I really enjoyed that discussion. I thought
Yeah.
actually you were super chilled, bro. You were super chilled.
Yeah.
Like I thought you handled that very well because you
Yeah.
could.
I was sitting on my hands.
I thought you handled it fantastic, but
Yeah.
you get this asshat of a ban, suspended indefinitely, banned out of the league with like little more than like a 3-word statement or some shit on their
Yeah.
website. Nothing really official to you. Talk us through just that whole experience.
Well, they just kept it really vague to save their own ass. I think they just didn't want to get too detailed because, if I got lawyers or whatever, I think that they could have jammed themselves up if they said too much about what. They were just, keeping it very light. That's why they didn't respond to my email. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it is what it is. It was everything happens for a reason, and at the I had outgrown the league, and I just I needed to be in a bigger league, bigger, stronger, better run. I've got a bigger platform. Like it was time for me to leave that league, so it was great that it happened, and the way it did was perfect, and the timing was perfect. But it was like yeah, it was just the way that it was handled. I feel like they really just made themselves look bad. Not just with that. There was a few things that happened since that happened. It's just been one thing after another, and just kind of bad look after bad look. But for me, it's like it's a blessing because at the end of the day, it got me where I needed to be, and I was comfortable in Danbury. I had a few coast teams call me last year, a few teams called me again this year, and I was comfortable in Danbury. It was nice
Yeah.
there. I was settled in. AJ was there. We were doing the podcast. But at the end of the day, I knew I was supposed to move. I'm supposed to move up. I'm supposed to continue. But I was a little comfortable. So sometimes I feel like the world will do that to you. If you don't make the move on your own, then sometimes it'll make the move for you. So it just seemed to
Pretty
work
much.
out that way.
We talked a little bit about off air. You had a couple of previous suspensions, nothing as severe as a lifetime ban. Yeah, again, no communication from the league. Like no one saying
Yeah, like the
shit.
thing is that's crazy. Like before I played in the Federal League, I never had more than a 5-game suspension. That was the biggest suspension I ever had was 5 games. And 5-game suspension was a league review. Like you get a meeting with the league, they'd say, hey, this is what you did wrong. This is what you need to do to be better, or whatever, like a regular league would do, like just regular standard communication. This league was throwing the book at me since my first game, and never did I have a single league meeting. So the first suspension I got was game 1, and it was a clean hit right in front of the ref. After the game, I talked to the ref and I said, hey, was that hit all right? And he's like, yeah, clean as a whistle, no problem, you'll be fine. Like there was not even a penalty on the play. And then they ended up giving me a suspension because they said, because we were winning the game and there was only 8 seconds left. So they suspended me a game, even though it was a clean hit. Like, yeah, you can't lay a guy out with 8 seconds left in the game.
Yeah, you can.
Like,
Yeah,
okay, I play. I
yeah,
don't
you
care what
can.
the score is. I play between the whistles. I literally don't give a shit what the score is. I'm playing hard till that buzzer goes.
Otherwise, the
Don't
game would
care.
be fucking 59
Yeah,
minutes, 52 seconds. They're like,
yeah, exactly.
oh, then you finish your hit.
Anyways, so I got a 1-game suspension, and I was kind of like, okay, that's a joke, but whatever. Come back, my second game in the league now. This is last year. It was the big hit at center ice, and the guy did a backhand spinorama in the neutral zone while I was back checking. I coasted the whole way, like there was no extra strides, no charge. Shoulder, it was like clean contact. And then if that hit, I think they said that it was a blindside or something, or like he didn't see me coming, and I didn't make a play for the puck. So I'm like, okay,
Sounds
all
like
right,
a him
whatever.
problem.
I guess I don't know the rules now because I'm coming out of a time machine from 10 years ago when you're allowed to hit guys. So I was like, all right, okay, whatever. They gave me an 8-game suspension for that. So I'm like, okay, that's pretty crazy. So game 2, I get an 8-game suspension. And then from then on, I didn't get any, like they gave me intent to injure, I think, on that one, which is crazy because it's like, it was a hard hit, but they're like, oh yeah, you were looking for him. Like he's the best player in the league. Like dude, it was my second game in the league. I didn't even know who this guy was. I didn't even care. Like I don't know who anybody in the Federal League is. So it's like, And for me to be like, oh, I'm gonna go get this guy next shift, and then he does a spinorama in the neutral zone, that'd be like winning the lottery. So,
Yeah.
so they gave me 8-game suspension, basically saying I went out there looking for him, which is crazy. So I was like, all right, whatever, soak that. And then played like most of the season. And then one game we we're playing Delaware. I laid a clean hit, like super clean check, no penalty. And their fighter came to jump me, and I had a broken hand at the time. Like, I'm not even gonna fight this guy. Like, it was a clean hit. I'm so sick of fighting every clean hit. Like, forget this. So I just didn't drop my gloves. I'm like, whatever, let's take a power play. And he like just beats, like just takes me out, like hits me a few times and then gets me on my back, and he full mounts me. And I just soaked it. Didn't drop my gloves. I'm like, I don't care, whatever. It was a clean hit. Let's take the power play. And the ref gave me 5. So it was even. Both got 5. I didn't even drop my gloves. I'm like, are you kidding me? So I was like looking at the ref. I'm like, is that like, that's what we're allowed to just jump guys? And it's like both fighting. And I was like super pissed because I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? You're going to do that to me? I was like, okay, so I can just go punch a guy in the face and we're both going to get fighting majors. Got it. No worries. So then next period I come out and I can't even remember what happened, but I come up to this guy and I punched him with my glove on, like literally with my glove on. I didn't drop my glove or nothing. Just gave him a shot. And then their tough guy jumped me again, same guy. And now this time I dropped my gloves. And the kid that I fought, I broke his orbital bone. Clean punch, left hand, like nice. It wasn't even that hard of a punch, just well placed, and it broke his orbital bone. And they gave me a 13-game suspension. And they said that I'm dangerous. They said that I'm dangerous.
What?
The league. And they said I'm dangerous. It was a punch in a fight.
So did he get anything considering he jumped you to start the fight?
Nothing.
Nothing.
No, nothing.
What?
Literally nothing.
So then I got okay. So that was then. Now I've gotten 1 gamer, an 8-gamer, and now a 13-gamer. So and that was my last suspension. Didn't get anything for that. Was like a year. That was I think last Christmas. So it was almost a year. I went no suspensions, nothing, and or no intent to injure. I guess suspensions, and then they come full circle. I get this one, and they've reverted back to that suspension. Oh, at 13 games. That was the last one. So now we got to add 50%, which makes 18 games. That's how they got the 18-game suspension. And then they decided I served 15 games or 14 games, and I sat around. I could have left to the coast. I could have left to the. I was talking to coast teams the whole time. I could have just left to the coast if I knew I was suspended indefinitely. But they let me serve 14-game suspension, and then they changed their mind and said, you know what? Actually, he's suspended indefinitely. So that was like a big beat. Like, that was a big fuck you to me and my family, and I won't ever forget that ever. But it's crazy that they did that, and it's the disrespect that they did that. You know, it's really makes me upset. You know, but I'm not gonna skip to their level, and you know, I'm gonna be a man about it, and you know, I'll talk about it the way you know you guys heard me talk about it. I'm not gonna say anything bad. I don't need to drag them through the mud too much. They're dragging themselves through the mud. So it's bullshit, but it is what it is, man. On to a real league where that won't happen. I've already had a meeting with the league. You know, I've talked to the people on the East Coast, and they told, you know, they told me what they expect of me. I told them what I want. You know, like at the end of the day, this is a real league. I want to help them build their brand the way they want to build their brand. I don't want to make the league look bad. You know, so at the end of the day, that's what it is. You know, the federal league's not like that. Nobody respects that league, including the guys that play in it, because the league doesn't respect the players. You know, nobody has insurance in that league. So it's like, how could anybody have any respect for the league? You know?